This hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
Check it out right here.
Ladies and gentlemen. And now?
Now, the only man to give death a near Johnny experience. Johnny Harden.
Merry New Year! Merry New Year! It's Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody! Welcome back into a little Johnny Radio's Happy Hour in 2020. I am very fired up for the new year. I think it's going to be a lot better than last year because I'm a positive, optimistic person. And plus, if I have another 2019, I'm quitting. And I'm talking about never mind. Anyway, but I'm not talking about this job. I love this job. This is the only thing that gives me sanity. But I will tell y'all out there is insanity. And I will talk about what the simplistic way of saying it is. We are going to talk about the insanity of what is I'll call the NWO of the Western Conference of the SEC, and that's DJ Durkin, Lane Kiffin, and the Black Bear Land Sharks. Colonel Reb, Ole Miss Rebels down in Arkansas. They ain't giving a buck. They getting buck. They ready to go. I think it's going to be a show. If you're talking about excitement, I want to know what people in Oxford are thinking. I want to know what people outside of Oxford are thinking about what's going on in Oxford. I want to know how you feel about the hires. I want to know if you have a young kid, if you would want him to go play with Lane Kiffin and DJ Durkin. I'm curious what you think. And then I'm also going to talk, of course, some very simple stuff. New Year's Day. You know, I watched Gus Malzahn and Jim Harbaugh embarrass themselves, their football teams, their families, everything about their lives. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, you might make a lot of money, but you've never beaten Ohio State, even when they had Mr. Day and Urban Meyer left. Not a one time. You know how many millions you make? Please. You think you can get one of them? And then Gus Bus, you made it to a BCS National Championship game, but you lost the famous Jameis Winston. Outside of that, you're 2-5 in bowl games. You're an embarrassment. And I'm going to tell you a secret. Your offense does not work, period, without a running back that plays quarterback or a quarterback that can run like a running back. And Bo Nix, when he hands the ball off, and y'all call that the read option, well, when you hand the ball off between the 20 and the 20 inside the red zone, 90% of the time, that is just a lead handoff right into a defensive end who's not being blocked. That's called stupidity, and you don't think people pick up on that? And again, you aren't going to get first downs 2 yards at a time. I don't care how good your running back is. I don't care how good your offensive line is. Bo Nix is a good-looking freshman quarterback, but you know what he's not good-looking at? In your offense. It has been proven year after year. Nick Marshall, speed to get to the edge. Your offense has to show the fear of actually running the ball between the 20s. And you know what? My man Bo only runs inside the 20 and mostly inside the 5. Did you know that over 60% of his runs were inside the 5-yard line? So is that are you basically not telling every defensive coordinator what the hell? You telegraph every play you do. I mean, it breaks my heart. And the reason I'm jumping up early in 2020, and I want y'all to hit me up, by the way, and in this first segment, I'd love to talk to y'all. And I want to start off with, we just had New Year's Day. New Year's Day for me is all about bowl football from when I grew up. It has changed. It isn't what it used to be. I'm not saying it's better. It's not better. It's definitely not better. But it is what it is, and it's New Year's Day, and we're still celebrating it. And I'm going to talk about the football that I watched. And I'm going to talk about how the SEC was 6-0 going into yesterday. Or no, wait, were they 6-1 going into yesterday? Or 5-1 going into yesterday?
I'll go look at the record. I don't have them in front of me.
I can get it. I can get in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Don't even worry about it. But what I'm trying to say is SEC has been balling. You could basically say they have been flat out just doing their thing, ball and shot calling, not even playing no games. And again, SEC, I got their record right here. They have done nothing but, go 6-2. Mississippi State lost. They lost to Louisville and the ACC, who's 4-5, which isn't any good either. But the Southeastern Conference, let's just be real. They've pretty much, other than Mississippi State, who lost, and Auburn, who embarrassed the SEC yesterday. And I'm serious when I say this. They embarrassed the SEC yesterday. And I thought about this while the Big Ten and, Alabama is just rolling through Jim Harbaugh. And Jim Harbaugh, who's supposed to be like a great offensive mind and a good offensive coach, can't score on this Alabama defense. Shea Patterson was supposed to be this great quarterback. I saw dudes 5 yards past the DB, and then he throws it 5 yards short, and it gets picked off. And then the guy's like 2 yards ahead of the guy, and he overthrows it by 5 yards.
The NFL talk about Shea Patterson.
Please.
Man. Can we stop?
Please.
And I know he'll get a shot. He's got some athleticism. He can throw the ball, but please let's stop for a second. Let's just pump the brakes. Let him try and convince the NFL scouts that he can do it, okay? Because every time he gets in a game against a team with a pulse, it doesn't look good.
Nope.
Every time.
No, it doesn't. It's very, very sad. And it's also kind of sad and interesting. And again, I want everybody at 67129 to hit me up. And I want to ask y'all this very important question. Bo Nix, I want to know the question right now, and I want you to answer for me. Has he proven in year one that he's the wrong guy for Gus Malzahn? For me, he has, because he doesn't have the speed. You have to be like, I went back and looked at Gus Malzahn and his career. I got his entire career right here in front of me. And I went back and, like I said, he made it to the BCS championship game, but he did it also with Nick Marshall, who went bananas and had an unbelievable year and was fast and can get to the edge. He's always done things with running quarterbacks. Outside of that, I mean, he beats Alabama. Like, he has a better record versus Alabama than most anybody in the SEC, but he also has a worse bowl record than he has against a record versus Alabama, which is absolutely insane to think about. Did you hear what I just said, by the way? He has a better record versus Nick Saban. How is that possible, to have a better record versus Nick Saban, yet not have a worse bowl record? Do you know what I mean by that? Like, does that make any sense?
It's hard to do. It really is.
And I call him Jim Harbaugh, and the reason I'm saying, but they're the exact same, but they're the exact opposite. Like, Gus Malzahn is not going to win you the big game. He is always going to fall short. He has to have a perfect quarterback for his system, because he can't change his system for his guys. He's got more. I want you to think about this. Do y'all know how many 5-star recruits were on Minnesota yesterday? Do you know?
A big zero, maybe?
Well, you're
1, 2.
They had a whole, you won't believe this. Are you ready?
Yeah.
They had a whopping 1 5-star total.
That's what I said. I said 1.
You said 1, but I was going to say total players, though. They had 3 between them, 4 and 5. Do you know Auburn had 46 4 and 5-star players?
That'll do 46. It, man. That'll do it.
But yet, who won the game?
Minnesota. Row that boat.
Row that boat, baby. How is that possible? How in the heck can PJ Fleck, basically with a roster that doesn't even belong on the field, go out there and beat Gus Bus Malzahn? And I'm going to tell you how. Because Gus Bus Malzahn cannot win unless he has a quarterback who is flat out faster than anybody on the dead gum field, or there's just actually.
What about Jarrett Stidham?
Jarrett Stidham, what did he do for him? Jarrett Stidham, by the way, was a hell of a running quarterback.
Because I'll say this, I don't think we need to have the knee-jerk reaction because of the bowl season about Bo Nix. I thought he had a decent year for a freshman, but we know second years with quarterbacks with Gus Malzahn is just never.
I was getting ready to say,
good.
I was getting ready to say,
like his development, the development
year.
of the quarterbacks never goes anywhere. And I see what you mean by a running quarterback because those running quarterbacks have dual threats. Whereas you look at Bo Nix, he can run a little bit, but the development passing has never been a Gus Malzahn specialty.
And by the way, just so you know, Jarrett Stidham was the number 2 coming out after. Guess who was rated ahead of Jarrett Stidham? Gatorade Player of the Year, Kyler Murray, as a dual threat quarterback. That's what I'm saying. Jarrett Stidham rushed for 2,000 yards in high school and threw for 5,000 yards. And again, I mean, he had a 200-yard passing game, 162-yard rushing game. I mean, the dude can. Jarrett Stidham is a 6'3" guy who looks like your standard quarterback, but he's also a dude who has some damn wheels, and he could scare you. But Gus didn't really use him that way, and he didn't want to be that type of person. And what happened to Jarrett Stidham? Did he get better in year 2?
Absolutely not.
Oh, and by the way, I don't want to go over this conversation because I know he remembers this, but I brought out in 2019, in this new decade, remember how I brought out every single quarterback that Gus has brought back, and they had statistically gotten worse every single year. Like, their first year with Gus has always been their best. Nobody has ever, under Gus Malzahn, come back and had a better second or third year. Nobody. Never.
It's just, I think it comes down to Gus in the passing game and being able to develop a quarterback, and he just has not done it.
Correct.
And it's just the truth of the matter. I think, but the thing is, they have good years sprinkled in there. It's not like they're having losing seasons.
Like I said, they're Auburn.
They're five-star players. They have good defenses.
This year, right now, they have the 13th rated recruiting class in the country. Again, the Gus Malzahn and Auburn. But this is the other thing is, does it really matter right now who's the Auburn coach when it comes to recruiting? Like, Auburn and the SEC kind of sell itself for, if you want to play in a national championship game, you want to go to Alabama. You can't get on that Alabama roster. Auburn's right there. You beat them in the Iron Bowl. And by the way, Gus Bus can go up there and say, I'm 3-4 versus Nick Saban. I got 3 wins against him. That's pretty dead gum dope right there. So that's like, all that stuff is nasty. But again, beating Nick Saban, that's not your only job, is it? I mean, at least I didn't think it was his only job.
But you wanted to talk about Jim Harbaugh as well in this.
That's where I'm bringing. That's where I was going to say. He's
good transition.
Same,
Love
but
it.
The opposite. And I watched them both fail at the same time on New Year's Day, and I kept thinking to myself, "Look at these two overpaid losers."
But at this point, though, Jim Harbaugh, it's his only job at this point.
Now,
let's get over the Ohio State hump.
They couldn't care if he won another bowl game. You know what? If Alabama beat them this year by 1,000, if he would have beaten Ohio State, people would still be celebrating and drunk right now in in Ann Arbor. Not East Lansing, that's Michigan State. They'd be like Ann Arbor, like that stadium holds 112,000 some odd people. Do you know how long it would have taken them to get out of the stadium if they actually upset Ohio State? They might still be there. Like, it would have been crazy, but he can't beat them. What I'm saying is, Gus Malzahn cannot improve a team, no matter how talented, unless he gets that special running quarterback. And I hate to say this to Auburn fans, who in 2018, I want to remind y'all, December of 2018, Gus signed a $49 million extension, fully guaranteed. Stupid money that y'all just threw away. But anyway, I know you're bringing him back. But Bo Nix, remember, on day one, I just want to say this. It was January 2nd, the first day on the radio. I just wanted to come in here and remind y'all of this. The Southeastern Conference is still the real deal. Holyfield 6-2 in bowl play. They are dominating. LSU, what they did was so nasty. I mean, it was so nasty, it scared me. Texas A&M beat Oklahoma State. But, I mean, again, LSU just slapped Oklahoma. What was it? Burrow, 7 touchdown passes, 1 rushing, counted for 8 touchdowns, and then they, like dude was chilling. You had the Gators. They got that, they beat up on they really did beat the tar out of Virginia. And with 46 seconds, I believe Virginia gets that backdoor cover, which ticked me off. But Florida owned them. And then you saw Kentucky. My man was running. I told you about him. What did I say about him before the game? Did I talk with you about Mr. Lynn Bowden who was punching people?
Yeah, he was throwing punches.
Man, my man Lynn Bowden Jr. wasn't just throwing punches before the game. He was throwing punches all through the game, baby. Like, he went out there and just, when you watched him run that sucker, what'd you think? Damn, that kid's an athlete, isn't he?
It amazes me, too, because
he was a wide receiver.
No, like, Kentucky.
Oh.
We've been talking about the whole second half of the year since they've had him in as a quarterback. Is a team going to be able to stop him? And he consistently has run for 200 yards a game. He doesn't throw the ball. They're very run-oriented. They have nothing else they can do, and yet other teams could not stop him.
I have a question that's going to make you laugh since we are making fun of, and I want to do in the beginning of this segment, make sure that everybody understood very importantly, because I'm also going to talk about how some crazy arguments, we're going to have some fun. It is the beginning of the new year. I'm going to get him to think about, we're going to pull out the big board in the next segment, by the way, Gabe. I want us to basically kind of rank some of the stars that we think are going to happen, some of the ones that are fading. We're going to do all kinds of good stuff like that, but what I'm trying to say is, if we were sitting here talking about, Gus Malzahn in the SEC is a 2-5 coach in the bowl games. He's played in one BCS championship, gave that championship to Jimbo Fisher, who turned that into $75 guaranteed $1 million at Texas A&M. But what I'm basically trying to say is Auburn, at this point in this new decade, as long as they have Gus Malzahn, and Bo Nix, if he's under the helm for 3 more years, I can guarantee you his record versus Nick Saban is going to go to like 3-7 because they're not going to beat Alabama. Not with Bo Nix, who can't. I mean, again, your offense is based on the threat of the quarterback running the football, and Bo Nix doesn't run the football from the 20 to the other 20. He doesn't really run the ball until he gets down in the red zone, basically into the 5-yard line. So when you do that read option, every defensive coordinator just knows that is a handoff with an unblocked defensive end because the quarterback's going to give it. And out of the 5% that he pulls it and runs, wow. I mean, you give up like 1 first down in a game.
So you don't see them breaking the mold. You see it being the exact same. You think
Gus,
every time that he has a chance to change us, every time he has a chance to move forward and look like he's developing more as a coach, he doesn't? Because I look at Bo Nix, I see a lot of talent there, and I see he's young, he's decent, you can develop him.
I think Bo Nix isn't the problem.
Oh, no, absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
It's
Gus needs to develop
offense.
quarterbacks. But,
he's got to change the
so
offense.
you don't think Bo will help invoke a little bit of change in Gus?
I don't think so. I don't think Gus understands how to call a pro-style offense or run a pro-style offense. I don't think Gus knows how to actually, it doesn't even have to be a pro-style. I don't think he knows how to run a normal, his wide receivers. Have you heard coaches talk about a wide receiver that comes from Auburn and how hard it is? They don't even know what a route tree is. Like their route tree is a joke. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot that you have to teach those wide receivers. So what I'm trying to say is they pay this guy in Alabama, in Auburn, in Alabama, he's in Alabama, in Auburn, Alabama, so much dadgum money. And yes, he beats Nick and gives you those Iron Bowl victories. Congratulations. But him with Bo Nix, if you're telling me that we're going to start the 2020 decade and you got Gus and Bo, the next 3 years, I can tell you Auburn will go downwards. And yes, they got the 13th best recruiting class in the country. But again, I watched a Minnesota team with 1 5-star player beat 47 4 and 13 5-star players.
I also think that's a well-coached Minnesota team.
I do too.
And let's not deny the talent they had in their wide receivers and quarterback. Tanner Morgan, Rashad Bateman, and Tyler Johnson.
Can we also not say that was those guys were coached the hell up?
Oh, absolutely. And I think PJ Fleck is a up-and-comer. Like when you look at that Big Ten.
Imagine having Bo Nix and that Auburn and all those 4 and 5 stars on a PJ Fleck team? It's kind of like Matt Rule and Baylor. Yeah, they didn't look good at Georgia, but look at the players that they've had. They had a very successful team. Matt Rule,
you can't
is a
say
good
anything
coach.
bad about Matt Rule and what he's done at Baylor.
He is a. I mean, they were spurned. I wouldn't have sent my kid there.
There's literally no explanation. Like Matt Rule, at this point, I am in belief he's like the only guy that could have done that because of how they won, what they've done with the recruits they've had. Like he wins ugly consistently.
I think Matt Rule is actually a better program builder than Lincoln Riley would
and I think he's a guy the NFL.
He did it at Temple. He did it now at he's done it at Baylor, and he did it. I mean, Temple was dead. He brought them back.
Yep.
You have to realize Baylor came out of nowhere with Art Briles, and then you had the stains of all stains. Matt Rule comes in there and just bang. 1 year after, like they have one bad year with him at the helm, and next thing you know, they're playing Georgia yesterday on New Year's Day, and I'm sitting there going, man, and maybe if they didn't lose their quarterback, it would have been better. But I do have to say one more thing. Jake Fromm, how many missed passes did that dude have yesterday? Can we admit it? I want to ask you right now, 67129. Georgia, do you want him back next year?
And then again, I will say this, John. I'm not a big Jake Fromm guy, but that ball he put in the end zone over the shoulder, that was beautiful. And those are the things that he does.
Over the wide receiver's head, the running back's head out of the backfield on a simple wide receiver.
Yes, I agree.
3 feet. Or what about the very third down and 1?
But then he makes those throws
he drops
like that.
A 5-yard little out route. The defender falls down. He threw it 6 yards over the dude's head. Just sailed that giant.
He was 20 for 30, 250, 2 TDs. Now,
against Baylor.
I thought he was solid. I really did. But I agree with you in the fact that he is very erratic at times and then drops one in there that you don't expect him to drop in there, and that's what makes him the NFL prospect, right? And that's the issue with him is they need to see more consistency before they take a chance. I'm talking about the NFL guys. Like they need more consistency out of him because it's just at this point he's kind of lame. He's a lame duck in my opinion right now, like just truthfully.
Man, I'm just kind of wondering, in all honesty, how Georgia fans feel because you had Eason, you had Fields, you had Fromm in the middle. He chose Fromm. You had the much bigger Eason, bigger, stronger.
But the draft class now, you're talking about the Jake Fromm and Jacob Eason. Who are you taking first?
Eason.
Okay.
Oh, man, you give me 6'6", that arm. Dude, and by the way,
Eason's actually off of arm talent.
I have watched, but I've also watched Eason throw balls accurately. Like, for a lot of them.
I was going to say, I've seen Fromm throw some accurately, but the inconsistency.
But he's so inconsistent. In the NFL, what's the most important thing? If you're not the most superior, like if you're not Lamar Jackson and the greatest athlete in the world, what do you have to be? Accurate. Look at Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. Look at Dan Marino. Look at Aaron Rodgers. Look at all the quarterbacks in the NFL that have been successful. Look at Russell Wilson. What do they all have in common? They're accurate. And Jake Fromm, for me, is just too inaccurate to play. You know what he is? He's Blake Bortles. He's just not as big as Blake. But he can, every once in a while, Blake Bortles will have a damn quarter.
Wow.
You're like, that's the best quarterback I've ever seen in my life. And then he'll have another quarter where you're like, what the hell was he doing? There was like the start of that game, there was a couple of times I looked over and said, man, either Fromm just sucks or he's throwing the game. They came back and won, so obviously they weren't throwing
I like the Blake Bortles comp, to be honest, because you talk about production at that level. He did well. He did really well.
Bortles was great. Think about what he did at Central Florida.
But it was all flash of the pan type stuff, where it was one would be an absolutely perfect ball, and then the next 3 would be ugly.
And that's the difference also with him. And also I have to say this. You look at this. Joe Burrow, like he was so accurate. And when you watch the difference in Joe Burrow and Jake Fromm, it's like night and day. I see a man who's in control of everything and belief in every single throw. And with Jake Fromm, I see a guy who's back there with happy feet, not exactly sure what he's doing. And because he's got 4- and 5-star guys all around him, every once in a while, he looks good. And by the way, Georgia did have the best defense in the country. Let's be real, you know? He should have gotten it done this year and didn't. But anyway, hit me up, 67129 on our text line. We're going to talk about everything. And again, I was comparing Gus Malzahn and Jim Harbaugh, how Jim fails in a different way, but they still fail in Ann Arbor, and how Gus fails, for Auburn, but in a different way. They still beat Nick Saban every once in a while, but they can't win a bowl game. They always have some stupid game where they fall short, and he's never brought a quarterback and had a better year. So basically what I'm saying is, with a true freshman quarterback in Bo Nix who can't run the ball between the 20s, can he be successful in Gus Malzahn's offense going forward? I already say no. You tell me what you think. 67129. And is Lane Kiffin just going all out? All out. All out. DJ Durkin. That's what we talking about, man. We got Lane Kiffin. We got DJ Durkin. Y'all know, go check out the investigation that led into Durkin's firing at Maryland. He got fired in October of 2018. After a young man passed away. Very interesting article, and then read about where he is today. It's also interesting that Lane brings him in, and I like the fact, I like Ole Miss. They're going in a different angle, at a different, totally different style. I think it's kind of new, it's kind of hip. Tell me what you think at 67129 or call us up at 901-360-8255. We'll be right back on Sports 56 96.1. And never forget, MemphisFarmers.com and my buddy Chad Gatlin. Happy New Year's, Chad. 2020. Happy New Year's to all of y'all on 87.7 FM.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through the midday with Sports 56 Middays. Delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 till 1 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main downtown has all your game day needs with 30 TVs. If your game is not on one of the 20 big screens, then sit in a booth with your own remote. The Vault has game day specials on pitchers, buckets of beer, and great food, which is the best thing about the Vault. This is not your normal sports bar. Chef Dirk Meitzler from On Tour and Cafe 61 has all his favorites like Chicken Newport and his new lobster enchilada. Open for lunch and dinner every day with lunch specials for $12 weekdays with a drink. The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main, your downtown place to eat, drink, and watch the game.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 1616 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 1616. Enjoy.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, back to Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Here we go. This hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
Well, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why.
What's up? Welcome back into a little Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. I'm your sports mixologist, John Harden. Happy New Year, everybody. Y'all know me at Johnny Radio. You can follow me at Johnny_Radio on Twitter. By the way, you can also check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, and YouTube. Message us at Sports56 WHBQ on any of them. Check us out. You'll absolutely love it. And don't forget my buddy, my friend, Gabe Kuhn at G_Coon71, and it's KUHN, by the way. KUHN. And there's the underscore. We all like underscores, by the way. Everybody likes a little underscore action, if you know what I'm saying. Now, this is very crucial. A lot of people, I got to tell y'all, I've already made a predicament that the dynasty of the Patriots is dead. 2020 will be the end. They lose in the first round as Derrick Henry, who is the NFL rushing leader and has had a hell of a season, he's going to have to go up against like Hightower and a bunch of old school, muscled up, they stop the run linebackers. This is going to be old school football, except for you have the offensive player in the week in Ryan Tannehill. I mean, the month. Did you know that? He got the offensive player of the month in the NFL.
Deserved, man.
12 touchdowns, 2 picks, tearing up the NFL. This guy's going in there hot as a firecracker, can run, can throw, play action pass with Derrick Henry and A.J. Brown for me and my what's up down in Ole Miss. What's up, everybody in Oxford who's gone NWO? DJ Durkin, Lane Kiffin, y'all wild up in there. But I'm going to tell you something. Your boy A.J. Brown has been straight up buck wild up in Tennessee all season long. I think the Titans, I think they got this bad boy. I mean, Mohamed Sanu was traded because he can't start for the Falcons. I mean, you going to play him over Cooper? Not Amari Riley. Or you going to play him over Julio Jones? Oh, hell no. So Sanu is their best player. Last year's MVP, Julian Edelman's got a bum hamstring, it looks like. He's been slow in and out of his breaks, or he's just been eating too much MDMA or something. It was like, because that's what the guy in front of him did. Remember that? He was at the, just a little sidebar. Do y'all remember my homie, do y'all remember the little Wes Welker? He went into the Kentucky Derby.
He's coaching now.
Yeah. Well, dude, he needed to stop doing MDMA and get back into, like, working out. But he went down and he like had a $50,000 or $100,000 bet that he was falsely paid. Like, it was a winning bet at the Kentucky Derby. Google it. You think I'm lying? And they wanted the money back. And they said no. But the funny thing is, they were trying to talk to him, and they said he was rolling so hard he couldn't talk to him. Little sidebar, but anyway, Julian Edelman, dude can't get in and out of his breaks, please. That defense for Tennessee, and everybody talks about, oh, Bill Belichick's going to design a defense 1 week just to stop Ryan Tannehill. No, I don't think so. This is the end. This is the end. Beautiful friend. The end. Go Titans. Just had to bring that out in the beginning. And I already brought up this. And I had to say they're going buck down in Ole Miss. But I also do have to say is Durkin's got a job. Lane Kiffin's got a job. People working down in Oxford. Things going to be different. Malzahn, everything is wrong. I think Bo Nix is going to have a bad career because he's with the wrong coach. By the way, do you know how many deep passes Bo Nix threw yesterday?
No.
He threw 0. Didn't throw one pass farther than 20 yards. Do you know how many times he ran the ball on his side of the 50?
Oh, on his side of the I know he ran he had like 6 attempts. But.
He only ran the ball one time on their side of the field. One time. One! So sad. Predictable as can be. So predictable and such an embarrassment. But again, the only other embarrassment of the SEC, who's 6-2 in the bowl seasons right now, was Mississippi State losing to Louisville. That's embarrassing. I'm sorry. How the heck do you start off? You're kicking their teeth in and you let Louisville come back and beat you. That was embarrassment. Didn't like that. But other than that, the SEC has looked dope. And I got a text here at 67129 that has said, has anyone mentioned that Oregon dominated Wisconsin's running back? And I'm like, dude, Oregon didn't dominate anything. Wisconsin had 4 turnovers yesterday and a punt that the punter, if he punts it, everything's cool. Wisconsin wins for sure. But he literally just dropped the ball. Homie for Oregon palms it, picks it up, and runs it in for a touchdown for the only touchdown that they scored in the third quarter. By the way, Oregon, how many touchdown passes did that unbelievable quarterback have? 0. He had an interception and threw for 138 yards. He did have 3 rushing touchdowns, which was pretty.
He was running that thing, man.
He ran that ball good.
Well, no, to be honest,
but
here's
Taylor
the thing.
had 21 carries, and the other running backs, by the way, had 16 because they were getting the other guys. And 21 carries for 94 yards isn't bad. And he had his first fumble of the season lost, which was bad. But again, they had 4 turnovers, and they won the game by 1 point, and it was straight up BS.
And I'm going to say that OPI was not OPI. Did you see that at the end of the game? They called an offensive pass interference on a first down from Wisconsin.
Yes. And they would have gone and gotten the field goal and probably won the game by 2.
And then Kirk Herbstreit after the game had said that, I went back and looked, and No,
he didn't. I looked
was
too.
not.
It was not a pass
OPI.
interference.
That game should have kept
the
going.
The dude
but
was
at the same
running
time,
his route, and they said he came out as a blocker. No, he didn't. You saw him turn.
Hey, it's a great story though for Justin Herbert being a kid from Eugene winning that thing.
3 rushing touchdowns, which was so weird.
Only ran for 29 yards. Yet
3 rushing touchdowns. They didn't throw 1 passing touchdown against Wisconsin, but somebody actually thinks that Oregon dominated. By the way, just to remind you, time of possession in that ball game. If you want to talk about dominance and how the only reason Oregon won was because of the 4 turnovers. Period. But think about this: time of possession, 19-41. 19-41. I'll tell you right now, Oregon. Do you think that's a tired defense today? Like, they got to be just worn the
I think the reason Oregon won is because good old Jack Cohn, quarterback for Wisconsin.
He sucks.
He's a noodle arm. He has such a noodle arm, man.
Yeah,
and I don't want to trash him too bad because I think he's done a good job at least managing.
He did an okay job. The interception was bad down there, especially in scoring position. But, dude, that stupid wide receiver screen after you saw my man running right down the middle for 20 yards, carrying like 8 people, and then Stokes fumbles the ball. And then the worst, though, in all honesty, if the punter does not drop that punt and it isn't picked up by Oregon and score, even with all the turnovers, Oregon can't win that game. Wisconsin was dominating them physically. Wisconsin, I would like to remind you, had more rushing and passing yards. By the way, we're making fun of Wisconsin's quarterback because he stinks. But he threw for 186 yards, and he threw for a touchdown pass, while my man Justin Herbert had 138 yards. And by the way, he had 49 on one pass? 49 yards?
Yeah. But what does Wisconsin try to do to you? That's the question. Wisconsin is a ball control offense.
And they
run the
down.
crap out of the ball. Do you want to know the time of possession? 38-21
Oh,
Wisconsin.
this one's wrong. It says 41-19. Well, it
38
says 30.
20. But
it says 39-8.
The fact that Oregon won that game, let's just be real. It was pretty lucky. It was a situation where they just got dealt a hand by Wisconsin's turnovers, by the fumbled punt. But there's no doubt in my mind when I watched that game, especially through the first half, a little bit into the second half, that Wisconsin was controlling the pace.
Dude,
it wasn't a question.
No, they controlled everything. And I have to say one thing. The punter, and this is something that's going to be crazy. You know, there were 2 punters in that game, and I wanted to ask you this question because they used Allen and Lodi to punt. Do you know which one fumbled?
No.
I don't either because I didn't realize they were using 2 punters until just now. Texter just sent that in. I wonder if the guy who came in as a senior was the one who dropped the punt and it was his first punt. How bad would that dude feel? You basically lose the Rose Bowl because you drop a punt. Yep, Allen had 2 punts. Lodi punted 1. It doesn't say which one of them was the idiot that fumbled it. But, man, I really do want to know. 67129, tell me which one of them was it? Was it the dude that they just put in, like, because he was a senior, and they're like, hey, he's a punter, we're kicking their teeth in, let's be nice to him?
Oh, they were never kicking their teeth in.
Physically.
Yes, but that's such a Big Ten thing where you're beating a team physically, and the score does not reflect that.
No, it is true. In Wisconsin, they felt like those coaches felt like they had that bad boy. They felt in control. Like I said, time of possession, the third down efficiency. Auburn was 3 of 10 on third down. Think about that. That was a season low for them. They did better against Auburn's defense. They completed passes for only 6.6 yards. Again, a season low. And guess what their yard per rush was? Again, a season low, 2.2. So Wisconsin's defense had to feel dead gum good, and they still forced 1 turnover. But they didn't know that Wisconsin was going to give up 4 turnovers and basically mess them up bad. And by the way, I do have to say, shout out to Mario Cristobal, and I can't believe I'm doing this. But they did notice one thing. Wisconsin might play 3 linemen and a lot of linebackers, and they blitz, but they play, if you notice, a lot of basically, zero coverage with the free safety, free. How many times did you – that's how come Justin had 3 rushing touchdowns, because those wide receivers would take off running. Those cornerbacks had their back turned to the quarterback, didn't know where he was. And then you would have a blitz, and then the hole would open like the Red Sea. And the next thing you know, Justin was a lot faster than people. He was not. He was not Justin Fields, but it was damn good close. He looked close, didn't he? He was running. He made him look like Justin Fields yesterday. Justin Herbert did everything with his legs, and that was coaching, I think.
And that's the big thing with him in the NFL is just how athletic he is at 6'6", like 230. He can throw the ball really well for the most part. He didn't really show it last night. And this season he hasn't. He's been sort of up and down as far as that goes. But I think it has to do with his offensive coordinator. He's had to switch his offensive coordinator a couple times while at Oregon. But by the way, Lottie's the one who fumbled the ball.
Oh,
the punter,
the one who came in.
Wisconsin punter.
One other guy says, Johnny, I'm feeling a empty the bank bet on the Vols tonight. What do you think? I think you got two teams in Indiana and Tennessee that this game is so important for them. Both teams want this. This Tax Slayer Gator Bowl is proof that both of these teams are going in the right direction. The way Tennessee started to finish with a Tax Slayer Bowl win would be huge. But can I tell you something? This Indiana team, they played Ohio State, Michigan State, and Penn State. I got to say, that's a hell of a schedule. Those are the teams, by the way.
Time out.
Those are their 4 losses.
But as you say, you didn't mention they lost to all 4.
No, that's what I'm saying.
The rest of their schedule was pretty cupcake.
Purdue, Northwestern, Nebraska, Maryland, Rutgers, Wisconsin, UConn, Eastern Illinois, and Ball State. So, yes, it was a lot of cupcake. They lost, but what I'm saying is they played 4 baller teams. This is where I have to say, though, and you have to admit this, too, where Tennessee, you have to also look at their schedule, and you can look at the end of the year where they run, 6 in a row or something? But South Carolina, UAB, Kentucky,
cupcakes, very
Missouri,
similar.
Like that's what I'm saying. They beat a bunch of cupcakes. Now, in Vanderbilt at the end of the year, but the ones that were hard, Alabama smoked them, Georgia smoked them, Florida smoked them, BYU beat them in 2 overtimes. But this was the embarrassing one. On Saturday, August 31st, to start their season, they lost to Georgia State. And then on September 7th, they lost to BYU in double overtime. They beat Chattanooga, but when they went to, I think it was after they lost to Georgia. So they're basically 1-4 at this time. It's October 5th. Life is looking bad. They lost to Georgia 43-14. They lost to Florida 34-3. Again, this team is looking horrible. They get smoked by Georgia, smoked by Florida, beat by BYU, beat by Georgia State. A guy goes up and he says, I'm going to stay up here the rest of the season until the Vols start to win. They come out and beat Mississippi State. Did that guy save their season? I'm just kidding. I know it wasn't. But how is it, though, that a team starts 1-4, has Mississippi State, Alabama, South Carolina, UAB, Kentucky, Missouri, Vanderbilt? Yes, I know they're, we do have to say, South Carolina beat Georgia, y'all. Mississippi State wasn't, we thought, a give me. Kentucky had, again, one of the better running back quarterbacks in the league. Vanderbilt had your number for years. You never knew what you were going to get from Missouri. And they went out there and they beat everybody, including UAB. So you got to give a big tip of the cap to the Vols. But basically what I'm trying to say here is, if there's a game that you go out there and throw all your money on, I think it's the Tennessee Titans +5 versus New England, not the Tennessee Vols -3 versus the Indiana Hoosiers. And it's -3.5. Sorry. I think that one, if you're going to take a Tennessee bet it all,
by the way, it started at 1.5.
Make it the Titans, not the Vols. What do you think?
Look, I really do like the Vols in this game, just given
76%. By the way, the money is on Tennessee.
That's what I'm saying. And what about the Titans? The Titans are a very trendy pick right now.
These
are both the Tennessee teams are very trendy betting picks right now.
Yeah, but there's so many people in the Patriot and Boston area. I think they had it 50%. Because remember, day one it opened up at -5.5, went all the way to 3.5, and it's back to 5. So the Boston area has bet it back up to 5. Now it's down 0.5 point still, probably a little bit more still in the Vols, yes. But dude, that Tennessee was 1, and you said it's gone to 3.5. That's a big move. So anyway, I feel what you're saying, my man, but I think it's important for both teams. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to pull out the big board because I talked way too much just about, junk and having fun with y'all. But when I come back, I'm going to pull out the big board, and my board is all about one simple thing. The next decade's athletes of the next decade. We kind of mentioned it, and I went back and I really, really thought about it. And I want to give it to y'all and Gabe, and I want to hear what everybody has to say, whether you laugh, whether you think it's great, whether you're like, am I on drugs? Who knows? But I think it's a very interesting list, and it's going to be athlete of the decade on the big board. And then right before I do give that, though, I wanted to give this, and it's the according to Social Media Watch, the top 50 most watched TV broadcast of the 10s, okay? Of the 2010s. Now, do y'all want to hear what they are? Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. And always remember, MemphisFarmers.com. My man, Chad Gatlin. Go to MemphisFarmers.com. You'll see Daniel Gatlin. But let me tell you something. His friends call him Chad. You can get a quote from MemphisFarmers.com and 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. But if you give him a call at 901-235-1176, that's 901-235-1176. Say, Chad, what's up, man? I heard about you on the radio. I know you're a good guy because John only has good guys. Let's do this thing, and he will take care of you. Give him a call. 901-235-1176, or do what everybody needs to do, and that's just MemphisFarmers.com. See my man Chad Gatlin, and don't touch that dial on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
At Jason's Deli, you can stuff yourself full of great deli food that's healthy, fresh, and best of all, it's not expensive. Jason's Deli is all about choice. Whether you're looking for a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids' meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the build-your-own selections, Jason's Deli has you covered. And they only use fresh, wholesome ingredients. Choose from the club and specialty sandwiches, paninis, wraps, soups, salads, pastas, and much more. I love the cleanliness in the restaurant, the hospitality, and of course the cost. They have a huge salad bar and great soups, including Southwest chicken chili, fire roasted tortilla, organic vegetable, tomato basil, and many, many more. And if you're planning an event, their catering department is fantastic and can handle any size party. Go check out Jason's Deli's 4 locations. On Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, that's my favorite, on Germantown Parkway in Cordova, at Poplar and Highland, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch.
We know what you really want is to go to Sunrise on Jefferson and enjoy a nice leisurely breakfast or lunch made fresh and fast. But a lot of the time, you just don't have the time. That's why if you're in a hurry, the way to go is to call ahead to Sunrise and place your order. That way, all you have to do is swing by, go to the carryout entrance, and walk away with all the sweet deliciousness that is Sunrise. Only quick and taken wherever you're in a hurry to be. Everybody's in a rush some of the time, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy Sunrise whenever and wherever.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now back to Johnny Radio's Happy Hour.
Kick it over here.
This hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
Thick and thin, I'm your pusher man. I'm your pusher man.
Light me up like a Christmas tree. Welcome back into baseball and little football, a little bit of college this, a little bit of future and storytelling. I guess this is Johnny Radio's Happy Hour, but I'm pulling out my crystal ball, and I'm going to tell you who's going to be the best over the next decade. We're going to kind of look into the future. But before I do that, I did want to tell you all a couple little things and read a couple texts to all y'all and all that good stuff. And did have to say, a couple of you people out there who are just jumping on and saying that I am making excuses for the Big Ten and how great Oregon was and all this stuff. I just want to ask, in all honesty, are y'all smoking like crack? Like, did you watch the game? They didn't rush for 50 yards as a team. They didn't throw for 200 yards as a team. We got
to credit them for an ugly win. It was the ugliest win in America.
It was the ugliest loss. It was the ugliest loss of Wisconsin's. Like, I haven't seen Wisconsin have a loss like that in a long time. I mean, seriously, what do you think? Am I crazy for that?
I guess the bright spot. Look, Oregon's defense played well, created some timely turnovers. They got gifted some things, though, and we have to admit that. But again, I guess, to our texter, you're probably an Oregon fan, so congratulations to the Oregon Ducks for winning that. Justin Herbert, it was a storybook ending for him and Eugene. A Eugene kid, started 4-8. Ended 12-2 in a Rose Bowl championship, so I gotta give a shout out for that. But let's not kid ourselves; they won really ugly.
Yeah, I thought that was one of the best. I'm sorry, that was just ugly, in my opinion. But anyway, it's time to pull out this thing that I like to do. But before I do that, I wanted to tell you what the best of the best is, and that's 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. That's right. You know who I'm talking about. Bill at I Buy Houses. He is the best. He helped me over a decade ago. Getting over it now, it's like almost 12 years ago. One day I was freaking out. Going to go, lost my job, lost my wife, couldn't pay the mortgage, was going to lose the house. Luckily, my neighbor gave me the number, 901-406-1101. Guess what? Called that up, bing, bang, boom. Bill answered the phone. He's like, what's up? He came over. 2 hours later, we agree on a price. Guess what? I had the check in 5 days. I'm walking in the bank, strutting my stuff, go and pay it, everything off, move out, have enough money about 8 months later when I get back on my feet to put a down payment on a new house and start back over. Didn't have to file bankruptcy. Didn't have to have a bunch of bad things happen. But again, it's about realistically, and I'm being serious, it's about how you handle those valleys to get back on top of those peaks. And I'm serious when I say that. If you're one of those people who don't understand what I'm talking about, you've listened to the show, life is peaks and valleys. If you know how to get on top of those, valleys and you're up there, then life is good. But when you're down, if you get on top of those peaks, life is good. But when you're down those valleys, you got to know how to get back up there. One of those ways, 901-406-1101. You call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses, a bing, a bang, a boom. Guess what? I just sold your house just like that. Now, let's do the big board.
It's the big, bad, colossal, huge, gigantic, explosive big board.
Yeah, it is the big, bad, explosive big board. And I'm going to tell you something. It's very explosive. And why is it explosive? Because what I want to talk about is what's in my crystal ball. And I know I only have a few minutes to talk about this, but I'm being dead serious. I look into my crystal ball and you know what I do? I look and say, who's going to be the greatest baseball, basketball, football stars over the next decade? And y'all say to me, John Harden, well, who do you got? Well, can I tell you, I got a couple baseball players, I got a couple football players, and I got a basketball player. But I have to tell you something. I do want to say this before I go into my little diatribe. Did y'all by any chance see the ratings? And when I say see the ratings, I'm talking about holy cow. Did you see what the decade was for sports? Or it wasn't even sports. It was the top 50 by ratings shows in this country. Guess what? You won't even believe this when I say, oh yeah, you'll probably believe this. How many of the 50 do you think, out of the 50, how many do you think were TV, sports, I'll
go about 80%.
Interesting. 80%. Well, guess what? I hate to say this, but it was a lot more than that, buddy. 94%. 47 of the top 50 were NFL broadcasts, too. Yes, even an Auburn person can tell you that because they obviously don't know much about their coaches except for giving them money. But poor Bo Nix. Anyway, I've been taking a beating. Oh, and a Michigan person who has Jim Harbaugh will even know that. But no, realistically, I want you to think about this. 47 of the top 50 broadcasts over the last decade were NFL broadcasts. That's 94%. Can you believe that? Do you know what the other three were? The London Olympics was one. Game 7 of the Chicago Cubs World Series was another. And guess what? The last, another Olympics in a different year. So guess what? All 50 were sports related. 50 for 50. But 47 were NFL. Shockingly, 2 of them were Olympics. And I can't believe, though. I mean, I can't believe it. I can't believe baseball only got in there once. I thought more of the Cubs, but the Cubs Game 7 of the World Series came in at 41st most watched game of the year. But think about that. Do you know what the top 10 were?
All NFL?
All 10 of them were what?
NFL.
All 10 were the Super Bowl.
Super Bowls, okay.
All 10. The top 10 all were Super Bowls. So basically what I'm basically telling all you people is NFL is a baller shot caller no matter what anybody says. Is that not correct? Yes, that is correct. Now, we're going to start here with the best of the best going forward. Now, number 5 is what? Simple. Giannis, the Greek Freak, the former MVP.
You aren't going to say the last name?
Giannis Antetokounmpo. And the reason I have him at number 5 is because I don't see an NBA game on here. Now, I think they're a global superstar, and I think he's great, but I think the Greek Freak is number 5. Y'all might laugh when I say this, but you know who I have number 4? I have Ronald Acuna of the Braves. I think this young guy could be enough of a superstar, could have enough spunk and pizzazz and love that he could turn the world a flip upside down, if you know what I'm basically saying. People in Atlanta, they know who he is. If you're a baseball fan, you know who Ronald Acuna is. Number 3 is another baseball player, and it's the last baseball player. It is Miggity Mike. What? Trout. Yeah, you know who he is. He's the baller. He's the shot caller. You flat out love him. And your number 2 is, I'm calling it right now, Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence in the next decade, he's going to have, I think he's going to lose this national championship to LSU. And I think he'll come back and play in another one. He'll at least have 1 title and play in 3 college football Final Fours. I predict. He'll be the number 1
Is he going to touch a Heisman?
I think he's going to get a Heisman next year. He's going to be the baller, number 1 pick in the NFL draft. And I think when this guy does get in the NFL, I think he's going to be a little bit different. You're going to see who number 1. You're going to see a lot of number 1 in him, if you know what I'm saying. You're going to see a lot of Patrick Mahomes, who's the number 1 player of the decade. Because you know what? Patrick Mahomes, he's so good. His worst game is probably better than anybody's game that's listening and almost everybody's game that's playing on Sundays with him. He is that much better than everybody. And I know somebody's going to say, where the heck is Lamar Jackson? I almost put him in at number 4. But, dude, I would have had to keep Ronald Acuna off. And then the other thing is, what if Lamar takes a shot in the knee and goes RG3? There's too many what-ifs. But, dude, he was close. And I love Lamar Jackson. And I think this year, if we have Patrick Mahomes playing Lamar Jackson in the championship, we're going to dance naked in the street. We're going to get the AFC championship we want. Because we won't have to see an aging Tom Brady and a horrible New England team, because the Titans are going to take care of that this Sunday for us. Are y'all looking forward to that? I know I am. Patriots, you're going down. Now, we'll be right back in just a little bit. I think I'm late probably as normal. Sorry about that, Gabe. Don't beat me up on the other side. It's a new year. I'm going to get things right, and I'm also going to be a lot nicer. Oh, and by the way, Kirby, if you're listening, what's up, man? You're going to have to call back in the new year. It's going to be a lot of fun. But, yeah, we have Saturday, Titans and the Patriots in the late game at 7:15. The early game is the Bills and the Texans. On Sunday, you have the Vikings and the Saints. And then the last but not least, the Seahawks and the Eagles. We'll be right back on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Mid-South Power Distributors is your source for all things diesel. For more than 26 years, they've supplied all the diesel parts that you need. From simple repairs to complete overhauls, they have it all. Whether it's heavy, medium, light duty, agricultural, marine, or off-road, Mid-South Power is the leading source for all things diesel. Fuel injection, turbochargers, engine parts, alternators, starters, and brakes, they can supply all the parts and services you need. Stop in today at 3250 Mill Branch Road in Memphis or call 901-396-0710.
Fox Tonight.
Sheriff Bradford suffered a serious heart attack. You're the new sheriff of Los Angeles County.
You gotta be kidding me. I wish we were. From the director of Suicide Squad.
You are not a soldier anymore. You are a general.
Meet the hero no one saw coming.
I'm no politician. These stars fell in my lap.
I think you're exactly what they need.
Stephen Dorff.
This department has lost its way.
Enjoy those stars while you got them.
Oh, I will.
Deputy series premiere. Tonight, 9/8 Central. After the 1-hour premiere of Last Man Standing on Fox.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
For over 25 years, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 has been bringing you great local sports talk. With 13 hours of local talk daily, we continue to be Memphis's local sports leader. The day starts with Keith Parker and Elliot Wender on the press box from 6 to 7, followed by the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurt from 7 to 10. Sports 56 middays with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy takes you through lunch from 10 until 1, and then John Harden brings you Johnny Radio's Happy Hour from 1 to 3. Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy drive you home every afternoon with Sports Time with Wolo and Stats from 3 till 6. And John Rennie wraps up the day with Southern Sports Report from 6 to 7 before we turn things over to Fox Sports Radio to get you through the evening. We also bring you Ole Miss sports, NFL football, and the NCAA basketball tournament. Don't miss anything. Keep your radio locked in right here on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
You'll see the dedication in every single step. You'll see it in the smiles when smiles are hard to get. You'll see it in the little things that add up to success. The caring and passion are the things that we love best.
Wolf Chase Limb Brace is your Mid-South provider for orthotics and prosthetics. They are an ABC accredited facility, and their practitioners are ABC certified. At Wolf Chase Limb Brace, their services include artificial limbs, legs and arms, braces of all kinds, and custom molded inserts. You can call them today at 901-507-7821 for their location on Highway 64 in between Germantown Parkway and Appling Road, or visit them at their new location in Jackson, Tennessee. That number is 731-660-5900, or visit them on the web at wolfchaselimbembrace.com.
Chase Limb and Brace.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. This hour is brought to you by your CBD store, your one-stop for all your natural, organic, and non-GMO CBD products, where good health hits home.
Check it out right here. Ladies and gentlemen. And now,
a man that eats meat so rare, he only eats unicorns. Johnny Harden.
What is up? Welcome back into a little Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Happy New Year's, everybody. I hope you're having a great 2020. I hope everybody's just loving all the bowls, watching life, and getting ready for a great playoff football and a great championship game. And we got more bowls, and we got bowls going on 2 o'clock, which is right now. Cincinnati's playing Boston College. There's no A.J. Dillon. Boston College's coaches are in a like complete mess. I think Cincinnati's going to pimp slap them. I'm just telling you that. That's what I believe. I think the Americans going to look good in this one versus BC. The Indiana-Tennessee game, I'm going for Tennessee. Tennessee. It's just I know both teams are really going to be fired up. I think it's going to be a very good game, Indiana and Tennessee. I think it's going to be a coin flip. 3.5 is a very, very tough question. But it is time back here on Johnny Radios to get into talking to some very, very important stuff, like some crazy stuff, like Tua. I've been waiting all day, and I haven't said anything about it because I thought he was going to announce probably during my show. But now I'm starting to think he might be pushing this sucker till later. Gabe, you still haven't heard any word on Tua, and we haven't even talked about it. But the reason is because Tua said he was going to announce today whether he was going to declare, even though you can wait till January 17th to declare for the NFL draft. He said he was going to announce today. Now, a lot of people out there said
he has pushed it to Monday.
Oh.
Turns out
he's pushed it to Monday.
Yeah, this was last night. This came down the pipeline. He's going.
Oh,
to
you know
announce,
what? I keep forgetting. Hold on. Time out. Today's not Monday.
Yeah, sure isn't.
It's Thursday.
You did it. There we go, man. You really lose track of your days at this time of the year, huh?
Dude, are you kidding me? We didn't work yesterday. I felt like it was Sunday and we had sports.
No, but he'll announce Monday.
So
I'm gonna be honest. I really hope.
Man, I'm an idiot.
I really hope he announces that he is going to the NFL. That's just me. I'm sorry. I just don't. I would feel bad if he ended up going back. But a lot of these Bama players are deciding to go back. Dylan Moses won.
Dylan's coming back.
Alex Leatherwood, who's a guard, is going to return
back
as well.
By the way, Alex Leatherwood announced that he was returning to school last night, right?
Yes.
And then you had, if you didn't know this, you mentioned his name. Who did you just mention?
Dylan Moses.
And
Dylan Moses. Was that weird? Did you see that?
Dylan Moses said that Tua's coming back. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah. Dylan came out and said, in fact, I got it right here. It says, Dylan Moses, linebacker Dylan Moses says he's coming back, and also his boy Tua's coming with him. That's from Dylan Moses. Now, that would be very interesting. Now, there are whispers from the community that he would come back. Now, the only reason I can tell you for him to come back is health. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's very simple. This is a fact, Jack. No NFL teams have looked at his health. The one thing every single person in this world has already said, if Tua's healthy, he's going to be a hell of an NFL player. The only question for Tua is he going to be healthy? So, is his hip going to be healthy enough for him to participate? Is he going to be able to get drafted and play? And today, if you're a first round pick and you're getting paid millions of dollars, sometimes they rush you back. So maybe if he feels like his hip isn't going to be ready, he can go slower at a slower rate. Plus they're going to be loaded at Alabama. He can get healthy. He doesn't have anything, he doesn't have the pressures of being a pro. And plus being the stud at Alabama has got to be pretty awesome. You're the big man on campus. But again, I'm going to also have to say this from me. You've already had 4 surgeries. If you came back and had a 5th, and I know your buddy Alex Leatherwood and your buddy Dylan Moses are coming back, and I understand that. By the way, Mac Jones is also. If you come back, doesn't that mean Mac Jones is going to enter the transfer portal? Like if you're Mac Jones after you had this year and you can tell that you're good enough to play, if he came back, would you transfer?
Would I?
Yeah.
If I was, absolutely, not a question.
That's what I'm saying. I think he would transfer.
No doubt.
So I'm curious on that part of it. If they really, really want him back, because they might want Mac Jones for a couple more years, where you'd only have Tua for one, maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying for Tua, and this is just my opinion. If you believe and you are willing to bet on yourself, if you believe the medicals, if they're going to look at your hip and they're going to say, yeah, I think he's going to be healthy enough to be a first-round pick, go ahead and pull the trigger, then I would go ahead and say, Asa Manana, thank you, Alabama, and I would go play football and get paid. Because if you're a first-round pick in the National Football League, you getting paid millions of dollars, and they're guaranteed, and that's very, very important. is to get paid. That's what he's trying to do, is get paid. He has a national championship. He's played a lot, and he's had 4 surgeries. So I feel like he's done everything he can at Alabama. And again, just to remind you, if you're this is I'm going to use this one right here. It is from last year. Say he's the 15th overall pick. Do you want to know who was the 15th overall pick last year? How much he got? He got $29.3 million, including a signing bonus of $19.3. Oh yeah, and you knew who that was? Dwayne Haskins. That ain't bad. 14, and then the rest of his deal, like 14.4 is guaranteed, and he's got 19.3 already. So again, like the man's already gotten over. I'm sorry, the way the NFL math is so confusing. You know what I'm saying? Because the option of the next year, but a percentage of it's guaranteed. So he got a $19.3 million signing bonus. He's got 14.4 guaranteed remaining on his deal, and what's remaining on his deal is $29.3 million.
They do the rookie deals very bizarre.
They do,
because
don't
the salary is low, but the signing bonus is always ridiculous.
So damn high. Yeah, I mean, and by the way, $19.3 million, like to the day you get.
And I'm
picked.
tired, and I get that there's like these $5 million insurance policies for if the guys get hurt and stuff. But I mean, is it worth it? Is it worth it? You could go get that money and more right now.
Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to bring that up because I had a couple people texters, and I can tell this one texter, and I'm not going to call you out because you're a baller, and I love you, the fact that you're listening. But the fact that you did exactly what I said, he texted, yo, is Tua announced? He did help me also think it was Monday as well. So thank you, texter. No, Tua is he's announcing on Monday, and today is not Monday. For all you out there who are thinking it's a Monday, it's a Thursday. So that means tomorrow's Friday. Party time. Excellent. Don't you love that? Let's do a little bit of my favorite thing in the whole wide world. But before we do, let's say your CBD store. Hopefully you went down and checked them out. Your CBD store, by the way, 2 amazing locations, 3157 Poplar, right here in Memphis, Tennessee, 680 North Germantown Parkway, right over there in the Dirty Dover, baby. Check them out. Go in there and you'll walk in there. They are the winner of the Excellence Awards at the CBD Expo in 2019 at the Miami Convention Center. They have a full line of CBD products. SunMeds is their main, the one that I use, and is really, really, really good. Now, your CBD store, 3157 Poplar, 680 North Germantown Parkway. Say goodbye to pharmaceuticals, hello to CBD. And remember, this isn't, you walk in and it's not a head shop. You're not going to get high. These are products for you to heal yourself. Check it out and go online to your CBD store because they got over 450 CBD stores across the United States. You can find one close to me. If you're listening on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, or YouTube, check it out, your CBD store. And they give you hardwood wood.
This is Access Hardwood.
Doesn't everybody give you hardwood? I agree. Well, I hope not everyone, but Gabe is different strokes for different folks. You know what I'm saying? Got to say, though, I love that guy. And my man Nunzio is also, he's down at Fitzgerald's watching right now. On he said he's watching us on the stream, gambling like a lunatic. Hey,
can I start somewhere with this one? Can I start somewhere?
Yeah, you want to start?
Yo.
Don't start with
Is Ole Miss really just, they don't give you-know-whats. They don't care anymore. I mean, they literally, Lane has gone out. Well, maybe they care about the product they're going to put on the field, but he has gone out and hired DJ Durkin. For those that don't know, DJ Durkin last year was the Maryland coach. They were winning. They were doing a good job. But in the offseason, one of his O-linemen, Jordan McNair, was dead on the field, and then after that, he received a suspension, him along with Rick Court, the strength coach. And then afterwards, a lot of his players spoke up about the toxic culture him and Rick Court were displaying and put on front.
Players
right?
And
that's the issue here. And then he has just been hired as Ole Miss's one of their assistants. I don't know in what capacity at this point.
Probably DC.
Ole Miss AD Keith Carter has come out and said that he's been vetted by 3 different people, separate occasions, and that they think he is deserving of a second chance. Right now,
Dude,
1 year later, is that the thing? 1 year later?
I'm just saying, I don't think so, but don't you know Lane feels like he's doing something? Like I'm telling you, man, he's just saying, I got 2 fingers in the air and I just don't care. Ole Miss, we here to ball and do it our own way. Everybody else get out our damn way. And I just think that he's going at it with that almost style. I don't think it's fair. I don't know about, DJ Durkin, I think is, I don't know the man.
What's come out about him, to be honest, the former players speaking out against him is the thing that really kills me, because
I was going to say, I mentioned the article. Did I tell you? Did I mention that article? That you can go back. That came out in October of 2018 by ESPN. That real big investigative article.
Yeah,
the whole timeline. Yes. And if you look at that, it shows where,
this was a DJ Durkin problem.
Yes,
this was DJ Durkin's doing. I'm not gonna, and not to mention Jordan McNair, the kid who passed. His family came out.
That's who I feel
and
bad
said
for.
that they would never let anybody send their kid to DJ Durkin ever again. So I wonder the thought process behind this. People always talk about, oh well, DJ Durkin's a great recruiter. Well, he was, but do you think this is going to help him? Do you think he's still a good recruiter with this hanging over his head? That's got to be the easiest negative recruiting pitch ever. But look, Lane clearly has his own thing going over there, and I think Ole Miss will be, better than they have been, but certainly a weird move in my opinion at this point.
I'm going to tell you something. The McNair family. All right, so Ole Miss. See, this is, I don't want to do this, and I really didn't want to really touch this, but heck, you already brought it up. I'm going to do it. I don't want Ole Miss fans to kill me. Because we're the home Ole Miss, man. We got a lot of Ole Miss fans out there,
and this is not. I'm not attacking. I just think it's an interesting move.
I'm going to say what I think, and I'm going to tell you why I think Lane Kiffin is going about it in a complete different style, because I think he has to win and be successful in the SEC. It has to be totally different. I don't know exactly what it is, but then if I just go individually and then I look at DJ Durkin. And I know about the horrifying situation. McNair's death was completely preventable. It was not a tragedy. It was not, this young man just had a heat stroke and died. No, this young man was pulled to the side and left for 45 minutes while they practiced and didn't give him any water.
They thought he was being a wuss. They thought he was just skipping out on them.
And one reason they did all that is because DJ Durkin, again, through the investigative reporting by ESPN, the one I told you all to go check out, that was released in October of 18, it came out and said that he did not ever get charged with, he never faced charges over the death of Jordan McNair. But for McNair's family to read and hear and see that so Team Mills, they would have these graphic videos during team meals, about serial killers and stuff too, by the way, which I don't understand.
And of animals eating each other.
Of animals eating each other and serial killers and how in the heck does that make you more tough, man? I don't know what he was trying to do. But then there was also members of Durkin's staff that says he used not just abusive speech, but homophobic speech. That he also, the stuff that came out and the toxicity that was built around his program and directly almost from him, there's no way in hell I think he deserves to be coaching in college football. He doesn't need to be.
Look, I'm not saying down the road that
I don't know.
He's not worthy of a second, but right now, a second chance just seems like the last thing this guy needs.
Can I ask you something? Is the safety of young people not actually the number one
It's about
job?
X's and O's. Apparently, judging by the hire, that's all I'm going to say. It's about what they think he can do to help that team on the field. I don't know if it's about, I don't know what consideration was given to the other parts of it besides that when you hire a guy like that. But anyway, ready to move on?
I'm just going
to move on?
Last thing I'm going to say, in my opinion, and I'm always going to believe this, a coach is a leader of men, and he is supposed to be the ultimate leader, and the buck stops with him. And your ultimate job is, of course, to go out there and win, teach X's and O's, help these young men learn and grow. But the number one job is you oversee young people, and I'm not joking when I say this, the safety of your people, and your program is basically on the safety of like their lives. You don't let people die on the side of a field from a heat stroke and then get a job a year later. I'm sorry, it rubs me the wrong way. I don't like it, but I do love Ole Miss. I see what Lane Kiffin's doing. He's just basically saying, what's up? We're going about it a different way. I wish them the best. Athletic Director, Ole Miss AD, Keith Carter. This better work out, buddy. That's all I got to say. It better work out. Ay. But now it is time to move on, and it's time to talk about some, crazy stuff, fun stuff, all kinds of stuff. Before I do that, you brought up one thing. Was there anything funny like that happened?
Well, Gene Simmons puts ice cubes in his cereal. We learned that this morning via Twitter.
I did not know that. That is just
would
weird.
you ever put ice cubes in your cereal? I mean, it's
hell to the Nizzo.
Come on now.
I don't want watered down milk. But anyway, I wanted to ask you this. This is where I was going. I was just checking if you had something serious because I know we're running out of time. But was Oregon smoking blunts or were those stogies?
I don't know. They're in Oregon. Isn't it legal there?
And they were in the Rose Bowl.
Oh, it's legal there for sure.
There, yeah, so like,
they could have snuck a little bit in.
I mean, were they smoking a little blunt action? Like, dude, I'm just saying, man, those look like some big blunts.
You're on to something.
Smoking down in Oregon, buddy. I'm telling
Their
you.
Their flight home, they all slept.
Dude, you know they did. Or
ate some bags.
Ate a bunch
they
of
better
Cheetos,
have some Doritos.
Cheesy poofs.
Cheesy poofs.
But I'm being dead serious, though. The only other reason I bring this up, though, which is kind of funny, did you notice people are actually tweeting this, and this is what I find funny about the left coast and the Bible Belt and how different we are. One tweet says, has the tobacco law not gone into effect? I thought it went into effect on January 1st of 2020. This is a bad way to start. Not all of those guys are 21, I'm sure of it. They were talking about tobacco as being, like, they're raising the age of tobacco to 21, which
they haven't done it, though, yet, have they?
Actually, I have no idea.
So, like, where I'm from,
But this is what the lady tweeted. She asked the question, and then a couple people like me tweeted back at her and said, are you sure that that's just tobacco in there? Because I probably think that there's weed up in that joint.
No, but I'm pretty sure any town can switch their, because like where I'm from in St. Louis County, where I grew up, it was 21 always. It was never 18.
Really?
Ever. Never was 18. It was always 21.
Like you couldn't even drink at 18 down in New Orleans when you were alive, ever?
No.
Wow.
No, like when Greg told me that he was drinking at 18.
Yeah, I went when I was 16, man. And they didn't card me.
He said he was legally drinking at 18. It blew my mind. That's something I never got to deal with.
By the way, I told my parents.
I partied.
We got busted, but we didn't care. We did the old 3-man. Drew and Robbie and me all told each other's parents we were staying at each other's house. We did the 3-man triangle. Went down to New Orleans for the weekend for a little Mardi Gras action.
Y'all got busted though.
Yeah, we did, but it was worth it. I didn't care. It was so
because
awesome.
that never works because none of y'all aren't at the house.
The parents always why do they talk to each other? No, because that's good parenting. That's why I do that. By the way, Savannah. And Rio, and to my grandchildren, because I ain't stupid, because I did a lot of bad stuff. But in 2020, I'm going to do a lot of good stuff. Give me one of your New Year's resolutions, or do you have one?
New Year's resolution. Do you do resolutions?
I haven't done it yet, and I'm trying to think of one.
Oh, you haven't done it yet. It's too late.
I'm thinking about doing.
Where they in? We're day and a half in.
You know, I always got to give myself a month.
How about?
I'm going to try to lose. I'm going to go no booze February because it's the shortest.
Because it's the shortest.
It's only 28 days, right?
I'm going to go. You know what? I'm going to shed some pounds. I'm going to shed some pounds. Let's go 10.
Wouldn't you shed pounds by just not drinking for 28 days?
And you can eat less. That helps too.
Well, I mean, but dude, if you just drink alcohol, I figure you'd shed a lot of weight.
Yeah, depending. I mean,
that's 28 straight days of being dry. I bet you lose. I bet money. During this February, we're going to do this. I'm going to get on the pounds. I'm going to get on the scale the first day of February, and then I'm going to get it on the end. I'm going to do nothing but quit drinking, live the same old normal life that I do, and I bet I lose 15 pounds.
Well, what are you eating that month?
Same. That's what I'm saying. Same old stuff. Ice cream. That's what I eat mostly.
Banana pudding for breakfast?
That's what I have every weekend. Central Barbecue, baby. By the way, I got to say, there's nobody better than setting me up, man. That's like, dude, speaking of, man, that was like reminding me of, I can't say Don Larson because he didn't set people up. He threw no-hit perfect games. Only man in the World Series to do it. But by the way, I did want to say rest in peace to Don Larson. It was, actually, let's be honest, David Stern, rest in peace. And then just to go back over the last year before these two greats, we lost Ali, Pat Summitt, Gordie Howe, John Wooden. It's been a rough year. But 2020 started off with quickness, man. Like I say, I mean, you go out and lose Larson right off the bat. And, David Stern's an NBA icon. The NBA wouldn't be what it is without David Stern. I did not know all that stuff about David Stern. Did you?
No, he was instrumental in bringing Grizzlies here.
I mean, I had no idea about. I learned more about David Stern.
He
over the last
grew the
24
NBA's
hours.
brand, especially internationally, more than ananybody before him. And he was
a
great
bad
man.
dude. By the way, though, Don Larson's perfect game in Game 5 of the 1956 World Series will be re-aired January 4th, 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 Central. On MLB Network, so if y'all want to check that bad boy out. But yeah, rest in peace, Don Larson, only pitcher, World Series perfect game, October 8th, 1956. By the way, I retweeted it. There's a great catch from Mickey Mantle. You can see just how great of a center field the Mick actually was back in the day. Backhands that bad boy, out of control, awesome. But coming up next, Isaac Simpson. First time in 2020. It's going to be fun. Talking Tigers right here. Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7 FM.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find real sports talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
What comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner.
Are y'all gearing up at the Rendezvous for the holiday season?
We've got ribs, shoulders, nacho boxes. We're stacking them high. The elves are working hard getting ready for the Christmas season. You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
For over 25 years, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 has been bringing you great local sports talk. With 13 hours of local talk daily, we continue to be Memphis's local sports leader. The day starts with Keith Parker and Elliot Wender on the Press Box from 6 to 7, followed by the Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hurt from 7 to 10. Sports 56 middays with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy takes you through lunch from 10 until 1. And then, John Harden brings you Johnny Radio's Happy Hour from 1 to 3. Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy drive you home every afternoon with Sports Time with Wolo and Stats from 3 till 6. And John Rennie wraps up the day with Southern Sports Report from 6 to 7 before we turn things over to Fox Sports Radio to get you through the evening. We also bring you Ole Miss sports, NFL football, and the NCAA basketball tournament. Don't miss anything. Keep your radio locked in right here on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Now back to Johnny Radio's Happy Hour.
Kick it over here.
This hour is brought to you by your CBD store, your one-stop for all your natural, organic, and non-GMO CBD products, where good health hits home. Here's Johnny Radio himself, John Harden.
Shackles, ball and chain. Listen to the whistle of the evening train.
What is up? What is up? Welcome back into a little Johnny Radio's Happy Hour in 2020. We got a new year, and it's a new segment, and it's the first time in 2020, the new decade, we're going to talk with our very good friend, Isaac Simpson. My friend Gabe, of course, at G_Coon71, is going to bring my man Isaac on for me because my computer is not working. Gabe, bring on Isaac for me, my man. Isaac, what is up, my man?
Man, what's going on, man?
Dude, Happy New Year. How's life treating you?
Happy New Year, man. Can't complain. 2020, and I think it's going to be a fantastic year.
I do, too.
Can't complain so far.
I do, too. And I got to also remind myself that today is Thursday and January 4th is Saturday, so it's actually really, really close. And they are playing another SEC team in Georgia, the 9th-ranked Tigers, who are just kind of like going through ball and shot calling. You know, they got through Tulane. They didn't cover the spread or anything. The game was a little bit tight. More was, talk went on about, whether you should boo players or not boo them and blah, 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 with the loss. And never seemed like nobody ever really talked about the basketball game or the team. And I'm just kind of wondering right now with the new year, where is this team right now? There's enough time that's gone by. Everybody knows Wiseman isn't coming back. Now you got Lester, and everybody's starting to feel like, everybody's figuring out what Boogie and Damian and Alo and Harris, and it seems like Precious, and everybody's starting to kind of feel their role and feel like things are going forward. So with the first game being this Saturday versus Georgia, the Tigers ranked 9th in the country. How are you, Isaac Simpson, feeling about the prospects of them going forward into 2020?
Man, I think you got to feel good. We talked so much about the 12-game suspension with Wiseman and thinking what could they do while he was out, and now we know that he's gone, and they still haven't lost a game. I mean, you talked about the Ole Miss game and Tennessee game. They got past those with wins, and now you're looking at, like I said, he's not coming back, and you got a big month coming up. I think South Florida, with their loss to SMU yesterday, might have dropped out, but as of yesterday, they weren't playing anyone this month that's lower than 120 at Ken Palm. So, I mean, they got an opportunity to make some hay here, and it starts on Saturday with a big non-conference game against a really, really solid Georgia team. And I think going into this game, I feel really good about this team, this prospects, because I think even as well as they're playing at times right now, I still don't think they've even scratched the surface of what they could be by March. I think conference play is going to toughen them up a little bit. I think when you got a young team with this many freshmen, I think they may slip up in a game that they might not. You think that they win easily, and they might go on a road and lose to a game in conference. But I think this team, and I think where they're going, especially defensively, I think is where you really have to be impressed with what this team is doing right now.
Is there any concern going forward with Boogie Ellis? Supposed to be one of those possible one-and-done guys. He has put together a stretch here of about 5 or 6 games. About 5 or 6 games where he has just been inconsistent. He's been shooting the ball at an inefficient rate. Should there be some concerns there? Do you think this is a guy, down the stretch will find his offensive role and sort of settle into it?
Yeah, I think you have to be concerned. I think we're far enough into the season now where you look at a guy that's coming in top 30, top 40 player, was once committed to Duke. You expect him to be a player that could probably come in and have an impact. And I think the thing with him, you've seen in spots where he looks pretty good, but you hit the nail on the head with the consistency question. He just has not been consistent. He's supposed to be a three-point shooter and hasn't been doing that well. Like, you have a game here and there where he'll shoot the ball well, but he hasn't been consistent there. And I think that's his main thing that he brings to the table. And so far, they haven't been able to rely on him in that spot. I mean, this team has struggled shooting overall. And he's one of the guys that is supposed to kind of help remedy some of that. Now, Lester Quinones has come back. He had a pretty good shooting night against Tulane, but Boogie is a guy that they really need to we're planning on relying on for that shooting, and he's just has not brought that consistently so far. And I do think now you have to start to wonder, is he going to be a guy that's going to get it this year? He's a guy that's going to come back? Is it going to take him a couple years? Because he has not looked like the guy that we thought he would be coming in. So,
I don't think you can go with this. I don't think
concern there.
Like, you can't go 16 minutes in college basketball and with like a goose egg, can you, and be a first lottery pick, right? Like, that was an ugly game against Tulane. But hey, man, Boogie, I think is going to be fine. Again, Lester finding his stroke. That's what we were very happy to see. And again, DJ Jeffries, Precious. Heck, man, Damian Ball finally had a good game. But it's all about where they're going. And the one thing is, Anthony Edwards is about the only person in Georgia who actually scares me. They do have another small guard, kind of like, Wheeler, who I feel like, Harris has the speed and everything to actually be a good person, or A-Lo could, fit on him. But the one person that kind of scares me for Georgia is Anthony Edwards. Who do you think they're going to throw on him? And do we have an answer for Anthony Edwards?
I think it's going to be DJ Jeffries.
I do too.
And I'm really excited about that matchup. Anthony Edwards 6'5", 225. I don't mean he's listed at 6'5". I really don't think he's 6'5". I think they're exaggerating a little bit on that, but at 225, he's strong, so he plays a lot bigger than you would think.
Oh, he
but
gets
I think
in the
that's gonna
paint
be
and use that. He uses his strength, that's for sure, but he can still stroke, man, shooting 42%.
Yeah.
Man, I like his game. Good basketball player, great size, like you said. But I will say, outside of him, like you go back down low and stuff, like this is a good Georgia basketball team, but I will say, man, if Hammonds and he's like one of their big rebounders and everything.
He's a second leading scorer as well.
They're a little bit light in the pants, if you know what I'm saying. If they want to muscle them up, could Precious go in there and muscle up Georgia?
Yeah, I think Memphis definitely has the advantage on the inside. Like I said, Hammonds is a pretty good player. He's averaging 14 points a game, but I definitely think with that front court, even with Isaiah Maurice, I think they have a kind of a size advantage because Hammonds is their biggest guy, and he's like 6'8". 6'9", so Maurice will have a size advantage there. I think Memphis should be able to really dominate on the inside because, again, you look at this Georgia team, and it's mostly Anthony Edwards, and he's their guy. That they go as he goes. If he doesn't play well, they usually struggle. So I think matchup wise, I think Memphis has the advantage here, and I think Memphis should win this game. But this should be a big game for Precious, and shout out to Precious since James Wiseman out of the lineup. I mean, he's been tremendous and is really starting to look like the guy that we thought he could be coming into the season.
I wouldn't say it's a glaring, negative I've seen about this team, but, you see the front court guys, Precious and DJ, and they're getting a lot of minutes. They're the main scoring. They're their guys, right? But when you get into sort of having to sub those guys out, say they get into foul trouble, who's going to be, who do you think down the stretch is going to be the guy that comes in? Is it going to be a Malcolm Dandridge? Do you think Lance Thomas, when he's not as banged up, is going to come in and be able to do that? Because I look at it and I see a little bit of a lot of thinness out of that front court.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. Coming into the season, on paper, this was an extremely deep team in the front court, and now with James Wiseman obviously not going to be on the team, things do get a little bit thinner there. You would have loved to have gotten Isaiah Stokes eligible, but that was not to be. So,
but don't you feel like there's enough? I mean, in college basketball and today, especially in 2020, when you look around the country like especially this season, there is not that just beast of a man realistically other than Precious Achiuwa. Isn't that crazy? It really does kind of work out for the Tigers because, heck, Malcolm's coming back. Isaiah's, gives you enough size down there. And when you have Precious, who literally is, working his way up into a lottery pick, I really like what they have down low. But it's not just that. They have, if we can get Boogie to score and Ball's doing his thing and Lester's doing they got scores and DJ. They got so many scores it's not even funny. But the one key for me was, can they get this team to play defense all year long for, basically 40 solid minutes? And that's what's been pressed me the most is Penny's got this team basically, that's where they generate most of their offense is off their defense.
Yeah. And kind of go back to Gage's question, I think Lance Thomas is the guy that you hope is that guy. I mean, he's a guy that's been around, was in the program last year, played some at Louisville his freshman year. So he's been banged up. He is expected to be back on Saturday. I think he's that guy that you
he's
really
back on Saturday?
expect to come in. Yeah, he's expected to be back on Saturday. So he's a guy that can come in.
Uh-oh. Did I just lose my man?
Because I thought, hello?
Yeah, I lost you for a minute, my man, so go right ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that when he was playing, I mean, he was a little bit of disappointment. I thought going into the season that he would be a big factor, and he wasn't exactly that. But I think if you're pinning that staff, I think with his experience, I think he's the guy that you kind of want to lean on. I mean, Dandridge is coming off a major injury, and he's still kind of learning as a freshman. So I think Lance Summers is the guy that you would like to see in that position.
I'm curious, and I have you got, as far as Penny throwing Isaiah Maurice consistently in the starting lineup, is there any rhyme or reason for that? He plays him like 6 minutes a game, right in there, but he starts them every game. What's the reason for that?
I don't know. I guess maybe the fact that he's a senior, and I mean, he is the biggest guy on the team without James, I guess, height-wise. So I guess, I don't know, you want to start out the game and see how he does, but he is a liability at times. He's supposed to be a guy that can step out and stretch defenses, but he really doesn't do that consistently. So it is interesting that he starts. I mean, even going back to last year, he played him a lot. He seems to be really fun of the guy. Even when we talk to him off the record and in press conferences, he always seems to praise Isaiah and the things that he's doing. So for some reason, he's a big fan of Isaiah Maurice. I'm not sure what Isaiah has on him, but that is interesting that he does continue to start him every game.
I will say that is a lot of interesting stuff. In fact, there's a lot of interesting stuff going into 2020, and I know one thing. Everybody was expecting, January 12th, Wiseman to come back. Do you think going forward with 2020, do you think the whole James Wiseman story is going to completely dissipate and they're going to focus on the players on the court? And we're going to talk about, do you think after maybe this week, is this probably one of the last times that we talk about James Wiseman until draft time?
Man, I hope so. I think it's time to move on, man. I mean, it's a tough situation. I know a lot of these guys in this recruiting class came here to play with James, but the situation is what it is, and it's time to move on. I mean, you're about to go into conference play. You got
that's where I was going next, man. Just go right on into that Wichita State game because that's the one I'm scared about. I mean, that right after Georgia, you don't think that there's any way Memphis can be kind of peeking ahead at that Thursday game against Wichita State, could they?
Man, I hope not. But if you look at Wichita State, I mean, ECU gave them all they wanted yesterday. So, I mean, I'm excited about that game. That's going to be a big-time game, especially resume-wise. But I think Memphis should be able to beat that team. You just look at Memphis and the rest of the teams in the conference. I know Wichita State's been playing really well, but I think that's a game that Memphis should win. But it's going to be tough. It's always tough. Even going up there last year, that's a tough place to play. You know how good of a coach Greg Marshall is. He's going to have his guys ready, and they're going to be fired up for this one. But when you look at that matchup, that's a game I think also that Memphis should win, but it's going to be tough. And again, this month, all month, they have the opportunities to even the teams that are in the AAC are right now pretty good in KenPom, all top 120, except probably I haven't checked today, but South Florida's probably dropped below 120 with their loss to SMU yesterday. But they got a chance to put some wins together here that can kind of pad their resume. You kind of look back at that Tennessee game, and that was probably not going to be anywhere close to what you thought it was going to be going in. So they're going to have to kind of run through this conference if they're going to have a really high seed in the tournament.
Huge question, and I need this for more reasons, and then Gabe's going to ask you one more. But are we Oregon fans? And I know I talked about the Ducks because I think they were smoking blunts, not just cigars last night after the win, and Wisconsin had 4 turnovers and messed it up. But Oregon, 4 in the country, 11-2. They, I can't believe they got 2 losses, but they play tonight Colorado. Why is Colorado actually a 1-point favorite over the 4th-ranked team in the country? Is it realistically just because they're at home? This one's freaking me out. Is Pritchard
Of course,
hurt?
man. It's home basketball. Home college basketball especially. Wow. Like, you get that advantage for whatever reason more than any other sport you can even think of.
Peyton Pritchard, though, man, I just feel that dude could shoot in any gym, any place, anywhere. And if that guy's shooting, Colorado ain't beating him.
Yeah, man, I hadn't thought of that. That's surprising. Even on the road, I would think Oregon would be favored there. That's interesting. I don't know what Vegas is thinking there, but they have their reason.
They scared the hell out of me, I can tell you that. They got me not playing the game because of the line.
All right, I'm make you look into your crystal ball here down the stretch here of the season. They're 12-1, the Tigers are. How many more games do you see them losing down the stretch of this one?
Oh man, put me on.
I'm putting you right on the spot. That's what I'm saying.
One, man.
Man, I know a lot of people said that this team might take 3-4 losses in conference. I think that would be a disappointment with the talent that they have on this team. And you look at this conference. I mean, I think they'll take a loss at some point. When you're playing that many freshmen, you're going to probably lose a game that you should win. But if they lost any more, I would say if they lose any more than 3 games more this season, I think I would be a little bit disappointed. I think 4 losses going into the tournament, I think, would be about where I would put them. But if they did better than that, it wouldn't surprise me. But again, I think this team, they just have to stay together and be consistent. Because in times, I mean, you get off these slow starts. We saw against Tulane how did it happen. And you can do that against Georgia. You do that against Wichita State. You're probably going to have some problems. So they just got to be consistent. But I think they should run through this conference with not too much trouble. But I think at some point they'll lose a game or 2 on the road, especially, that they probably shouldn't win. But I think 3 more losses, I think 4 losses would be a good goal. I know that sounds crazy for a team to only have 4 losses, but I mean, you just look at the situation.
If you look at their schedule, they've gotten through, I think, the hardest part of their schedule. I mean, other than Wichita State, who's really going to be like, are you sure that's going to be ranked? I'm not even sure that at the end of the year, Wichita State's ranked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you got some tough games. You got to go to Houston. You got to go to Cincinnati. But
still got to play Tulane. Yeah, again.
Yeah, Tulane. And I mean, UConn is decent right now, but almost all the teams right now, record-wise in AAC, are pretty good. But once they get in conference play, that kind of usually dissipates. So we'll see who separates themselves. But I think Wichita State and Houston, I think, are the 2 teams right there below Memphis that I think you kind of have to worry about. I guess you throw Cincinnati and UConn under that. But I think they should run through this conference, and I think that's what we're going to see. And if they're going to get a high seed, I think with their resume, the Tennessee win's not going to be what it was. I think they're going to have to do that. I think the ceiling is probably a 2 seed. I think the floor is probably 4 or 5, maybe 6. But I think that would be an extreme disappointment if they ended up with a 6 seed.
I love it. I'm going to go. I think the ceiling is a 2, and I think the floor is going to be a 5. I really do. I think 5 to 2. They're going to be in between there. I will say this: everybody, make sure you go to the TigerSportsReport.com for all your Tiger work. And everybody, if you're on Twitter and you're not following Isaac and you're a Tiger fan, are you really a Tiger fan? At Isaac_Rivals. He covers Memphis football, Memphis basketball, Memphis softball. You cover everything, and does it for Rivals. He also hosts at TSR Live. You do Memphis Grizzlies. You name it, Isaac does it. He's one of the biggest, baddest working men on the block. Give him a follow. And I will tell you something, man. Isaac, I can't wait to see what you do during the next decade, but I hope you have a blessed 2020, and thank you so much for joining me.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Same Happy New Year to you guys, and I'll talk to you next week.
That's my man, Isaac Simpson. We'll be right back. I got a pick, and then we got to say hasta mañana. It is Friday's Eve, or as my sausage friend likes to say, Thirsty Thursday on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Start your day with the Peter Edmiston Experience with CJ Hurts right here on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Benswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 125 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Benswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Benswanger Glass in Midtown, located at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit their website, benswangerglass.com. Benswanger Glass.
The after Christmas sales happening now at Family Leisure. Up to half off display models, closeouts, even new items. All 2019 spas have to go to make room for incoming inventory. Thousands off all in-stock spas. Game table starting at just $99. Theater seating and massage chairs are priced to move. You're already thinking about summer, so buy what you want now. The after Christmas sale is going on now at Family Leisure. I-40 and Wooden Road, where family and fun come together.
The Vargas family, legendary Memphis restaurateur, starting with Mr. Charlie and continuing today with his grandchildren.
Brett, it just dawned on me the other day that while Memphis is celebrating its bicentennial, the Rendezvous has been here well over one-third of Memphis's existence. Someone asked me if we remember the day the Rendezvous started, and I tell them no, because if we thought it was going to last this long, we'd have kept much better records. But we're not a place to rest on our laurels or reputation. We're always trying to add new things to make our customers' experience more enjoyable. Friday lunches have always been special because we give away our red beans and rice. But we are now adding a sausage sandwich. It's the same sausage we serve on our cheese and sausage plate, but it will be served lengthwise on the bun with beans and slaw on the side. We've also partnered with a company called Devillet out of Dyersburg to introduce a new sweet glazed mustard with Rendezvous seasoning in it. It will really go great with a sandwich. I still recommend adding slaw. My grandfather had a hot dog stand on Beale Street in 1916, and we've come full circle using his slaw on our hot dogs. Hope to see you this Friday at the Rendezvous.
In the alley in downtown Memphis.
Now, back to Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Let's go! This hour is brought to you by your CBD store, your one-stop for all your natural, organic, and non-GMO CBD products, where good health hits home. Here's Johnny Radio himself, John Hardin.
Many a hand has scaled the grand old face of the plateau. Some belong to strangers and some to folks you know. Holy Ghost and talk show hosts are planted in the sand to beautify the foothills, shake the many hands. There's nothing on the top but a bucket and a mop and an illustrated book about birds. See a lot up there, but don't be scared. Who needs Jackson when you got words?
I sure do. I love it. I love it. What's up, Kurt Cobain? How's everybody doing, man? When you got words, dude, you can do all kinds of things. And I got some words for you. Are you ready for this? I wanted to ask everybody out there before I say goodbye on Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. I want Gabe to listen to this. Text me tomorrow at 67129. Call and we can rap about this. But I do want to ask you this very, very, very simple question. It's something that I thought I'd get to earlier, but I didn't. Bowl games outside of the Final Four. I like the fact because it's the college football Final Four, it feels like the bowl games are still important and people still play. And I just wanted to ask this question. Jerry Jeudy played really good yesterday and probably locked up a top 10. He may not have had to play, but he had some dropsies the last game. Comes out, looks great, assures everybody that he is a top 10 pick. He basically defined himself as the best receiver in the draft. In fact, believe it or not, yesterday's Jerry Jeudy put himself above CeeDee Lamb, because last week I had CeeDee Lamb CeeDee Lamb is the number one wide receiver. Now I have Jerry Jeudy back as the number one wide receiver.
I'll tell you right now.
You know where
this
I'm going,
NFL draft class for wide receivers is the deepest draft class for receivers I have seen in the past decade. It is ridiculous. You got Laviska Shenault at Colorado. Hell, I thought Coxie was going to come out and he'd be able to be like a mid-round pick. There's so many people out here this year that are going to make teams better at the wide receiver position.
Now, I have a question for you, though. We just said Jerry Jeudy guaranteed himself. I think he made himself the number one pick of a wide receiver. I think he made himself, because the way Oklahoma got smoked, I just think he assured himself. But don't you think that somebody yesterday cost themselves tens of millions of dollars for playing, and they play on that, you know who I'm talking about? Mr. Jalen Smith. Don't you think he cost himself $11 million by playing yesterday? Say that's an interesting thing. I just wanted to bring that up because these are things that, I don't want it to ever become, what I'm saying is I don't ever want to see, like, remember when he, blows out his knee at Nebraska and can't play anymore, and we're thinking to myself, think about how much money he cost himself. But then you can also see where Jerry Jeudy can go out there and have a game and guarantee himself a top flight pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, the bowl games can help you or hurt you. Anything can happen in football. You can get hurt at any time. I just like watching football, and I guess I want to see football all across the board. I hate seeing anybody injured. Seeing Jalen Smith that year in the bowl game blow out his knee, costing himself millions of dollars, seeing the fact that he's able to still play is amazing. But again, Jerry Jeudy goes out there and he assures himself that he is a top 10 pick. So, I don't know, man. I just got to say that I'm happy that Jalen Smith is a Cowboy. Would Jalen Smith be even a better linebacker if he didn't get injured? I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. He's a bad mamma jamma even with the injury. But he did cost himself at least $15 million that year in the draft. Now, he's come back and made up for it, and he's getting paid like a madman. But how much money could he have cost himself? Then now I'm going to ask you a question. He said he regretted playing. By the way, that's why I mentioned that. He said yesterday he still regrets playing. Now, Jerry Jeudy, if he got injured yesterday, it would have been a nightmare. But don't you think that he 100% is glad he played?
I see. I don't know, because I think Jerry Jeudy would have been the top receiver, no doubt. Especially when he goes in tests.
Lamb?
When he goes in
Once
tests,
he got in the test, you think he would have made himself?
Jeudy is going to run a 4.3, and that's no doubt.
But they were giving him the dropsies, man.
Whatever. Well, he has one game where he drops a few. It
that's
is
what
what
I'm saying,
it is.
though.
But I will say this: I don't think it made a difference whether he played or not.
Interesting. Well, we'll talk about all this good stuff and more, and I will tell you people out there, I'm taking Oregon because I am a Ducks fan. +1 against Colorado. That is the pick of the day. Get out there. Make this world a better place. It's 2020. Happy New Year. We'll see you on the flip side. Peace!
You're right. We should have done the Central Barbecue New Year's resolution spot last month.
I told you that.
That's why I said you're right. But there are plenty of people that maybe didn't get around to making their